Welcome to the Chromaniacs post-game show. I'm Craig Elston, joined by Tony Sanchez, live at Snapdragon Stadium after a Wave 1-1 draw against Angel City. Alex Pena, El Profe, staying home, watching it all. We are ready. Thanks for staying up late with us live tonight on YouTube, and to everybody else who's watching or listening after the fact. Thanks for being here on this co-production of SanDiego.Futbol and the Padres Hot Tub Podcast Network. Boys, let's get in our three-point stance. Poured myself a nifty snifty of Trader Joe's whiskey to celebrate a 2-0 victory at Sporting KC. Turns out picking your DPs well might be the whole ball game in MLS.
Yeah, incredible stuff from Anders Dreyer and Chuky Lozano. Golazo by Chuky Lozano. And honestly, just more of what we've been seeing San Diego do so far. Outstanding performances, individual performances, team efforts. I mean, Alex, this is your San Diego FC, man. How are you feeling about them?
Yeah, it feels good. We got 3 points away. You know, we also saw Padres win, a Wave draw at home. It feels like everyone got a point here. Everybody, it feels good. San Diego is doing good on a Saturday night.
Yeah, we're about 5 or 6 minutes away from a perfect night at Snapdragon Stadium. But unfortunately, nobody told Angel City. And those jerks came back to tie. But this is not the Wave Maniacs tonight. This is the Chromaniacs. We thank you all for being here. For everyone who is here, we ask if you can give us that thumbs up on the YouTube live video. That's going to help get more people to this live show. Working late for you on this is a true work night for Tony and me, for sure, on a night like this. But we do it because we love it, and we love what's going on with this San Diego FC ball club. Alex, let's start to dig into this game, but on my broad overview looking at it, and while I was working at Wave, if you guys saw my Instagram story at 619 Sports and Live, you could see my setup up in the booth. I tried to keep my eye on 3 things at once, but an incredible individual moment by Chuky Lozano. One of the goals of the year, I guess Dreyer still has the win up in Minnesota, but one of the goals of the year. And then a tilted field towards San Diego's side for about 60 minutes of relentless attack by Sporting KC that came up empty.
Yeah, and this is like a thing that Kansas City likes to do at home. They do try to get that point, so they're going to be aggressive and really try to, take those shots. And that's what we saw. And get this, like, this is their first shutout at home since March 22nd. And every other game they played at home, they've scored 1, 2, or more goals. And yeah, that's what they try to do, but they're not so successful at it that they try to complete it all and get the win. Sometimes they do score, they do score late. They do try to get that draw at home, but what I was feeling out of this game was like I kind of felt like you needed 2 just in case they did sneak that one in, right? So I'm kind of glad that we got that insurance goal. We ended up getting the clean sheet at home, or clean sheet away, and man, big 3 points. That's huge, because the rest of the way we're playing against playoff contenders, and that's gonna picking up the next points. It's gonna be a hard fought battle. The rest of the schedule.
Yeah, I mean, look, threw in that Chuky Lozano goal is an encapsulation of his entire season, the best of Chuky Lozano in that moment, right? We saw what he was able to do defensively against LA Galaxy around here.
Yes.
right? So he gains that ball, tracks back, and it's that defensive just aspect. He's a fighter. He goes back. You see that in the goal by him getting that defensive slide, and that's in the final third for him. So to be able to do that, offlays it to Anders Dreyer, who just keeps it enough to say, all right, it's your ball. Here you go. But then Chuky, out of seemingly nowhere, decides to feel himself and just has the head up the entire time and says, all right, I'm going to go ahead and fly with this. Nothing for any goalkeeper on earth to do there. Nothing. Incredible goal.
What a moment of artistry. What a moment of power and precision combined. And I love that Dreyer gets a goal contribution for that. For like, here you go. Just like in slow pitch softball, when you here you are. Please enjoy this. But give another assist to Anders Dreyer. And I agree with Silver Joker in the chat. He's been looking for that Golasso all season long. He's been looking for that perfect shot, for that absolute ripper. And there it is. That's a goal that's going to be on every European highlight show. It's going to be on worldwide highlight shows over the course of the next week. And I'll say it again. It just when you make those picks right, and as we go through the MLS, we're seeing all these teams that have spent their DP spot on a defender that doesn't do anything for them, or a midfielder that has 2 goals and 3 assists. But, I'm sure their head coach praises his work rate. When you get somebody who actually piles points on the board, you've got the ability to win in Major League Soccer. And that's what the SDFC Chromaniacs have. That's what the Los Cromados have. They have 2 guys who can pile up the points.
Yeah, and when you look at both Dreyer and Chuky Lozano, they're not afraid to do that dirty work, right? They're not afraid to tackle. They're not afraid to track back. This is part of their workload. They understand this, and I think that's why they fit this system so perfectly. And we're in it seems like it just all works together, that this system works for Dreyer and Chuky, and and you see those contributions work so well. And man, the goal for Chuky was just so incredible. And yeah, there's nothing you can do. The ball placement was perfect. It was just over the hand, underneath the crossbar, and man, it seems like it was like the perfect goal for him. And man, it was like so much needed on the road, right? And also Dreyer gets that goal contribution, which it just keeps adding to that tally, right? It keeps adding to that MVP conversation, because he's contributed more than anybody else. And when it gets down to October and you're having those serious conversations, Dreyer has to be in that conversation. Like, all the vote getters, they have to be looking at everything that Dreyer has contributed so far. And man, that was another one, because he could have honestly just turned and done it himself. He could have been like, you know what, I'm going to turn and try to score this goal myself. But no, he leaves it up to Chuky. He lays it up perfectly, and Chuky scores the goal. So that was perfect.
Yeah, no, in talking with him, and now Dreyer with that assist actually broke the record in goal contributions from Carlos Vela for an expansion team, with 28 goal contributions with Carlitos Vela on that side. He'd later go on to expand his lead to the 29th with his own goal. But I mean, talking about the dirty work, Craig, and talking about this whole team, this was a game where Coach Mikey Varas had mentioned that they were prepared to play this game as if it was being played through molasses. Last time out, Kansas City was 0-0. They were able to be successful in stopping a potent attack. This time around, SanDiego FC had a plan. They knew they were going to face a mid to low block. They knew they were going to go ahead and have a chance to very few chances. 21 shots against SanDiego FC, 7 on target to 5 on target out of 5 for SanDiego FC. Again, just the clinical nature of SanDiego FC. But again, the dirty work. And let me see what you think about the dirty work from one Manu Dua. Because let me tell you, this is worth a hat trick on its own. The contribution all the way on the defensive side of things, right there, just point blank. That's a goal and a half. That's a goal and a half right there.
Well, it's so true that Dua's defense right there, clutch moments for San Diego FC, a couple of great moments for CJ Dos Santos along the way, and Sporting KC's inability to finish. But I hearken back to Wednesday's Chromaniacs episode where we talked about this match, and I've been wrong plenty of times, and SDFC memes has roasted me plenty of times. So I said first half. You guys probably remember. I said first half hour, first goal. Get that first goal, get it in the first half hour, and it changes the match completely. Now, here's what I didn't expect. I didn't expect that to mean that all of a sudden Sporting KC would turn into a relentless attacking machine. But that's what they were for the remainder of the half. They were a relentless attacking machine against San Diego. And I'm going to show my age right now, but an old childhood toy that used to be on the Saturday morning cartoons, and I had them at home, were the Weebles. You ever heard of the Weebles? It were just like these little egg-shaped creatures. And the song was Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. And that's what the SDFC defense was. They Weeble wobbled, but they didn't fall down. There they are. I had Weebles. I had Weebles at home. You could get different Weebles. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. That was the SDFC defense. They didn't fall down, and they didn't concede. And I really thought 1-1 at the half. I mean, I think I texted it to you. Wasn't the XG at the half like 1.17 to 0.12 or something like it? It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's when you kind of look at the stats and expected G, and it's like, well, that calculation is wrong, and you kind of look at the match and well, you kind of say like, who executed? Because you could take as many shots as you want and add up that XG as much as you want, but yeah, San Diego FC executed. Like Chuky put on almost like a 1 in a million shot right there, and then Dreyer did he executed his goal. But I mean, I sent another reply back on the chat where I was like, you could give these guys 100 shots, just give them 100 shots, they're probably gonna make one, because they just couldn't finish. They weren't good at finishing. They really weren't aware of where they were in the field, and it really did show. And that lack of awareness, and it just piled on into this, into being shut out. They should have had one. They honestly should have had at least one, but
yeah, like the very last play that Tony just ran there on the live YouTube show, that's a pass, or a passing at the goal. It's inch perfect, essentially. And in that sense, you got to credit Dos Santos as well. I think if it was the inch closer to get inside the post, Dos Santos is positioned to parry it. But, that's good positional defense by San Diego, maybe offering somebody the slightest sliver. If you can put it in the 0.5% line, yeah, you'll get a goal here. But otherwise, you're not going to get it. That's a great bet to make over and over. I agree, Alex, that Sporting KC had a hard time finishing, but I'll tell you what, what was it, 92 at kickoff? I saw it flash up on the screen.
Yeah, 92.
Humidity in the 50-60% range. Talk about a melting pot. That's what I thought the stadium was going to be, where the players were going to melt in the middle of the pot. That meant, just like you said earlier, you needed that second goal. You needed that second goal. When on the SanDiego.Futbol Instagram story, predict. I thought it was going to be 1-1. I really did, because I thought we might get that lead and give up one wilting. But no. 70th minute, Anders Dreyer. Little bit of fortune on the deflection, But I'll tell you what, when there's a loose ball and you're the first man to it, there's a lot of intention to that as well. And Anders Dreyer is not here to F around. Anders Dreyer is here to score. That's Volakari with a lovely send-in. I think it deflected off a Sporting KC shoulder on the way in to give the path. Also, good job by the ref to get out of the way. Yeah, off the chest,
off the
in
chest,
fact, of a Sporting KC player. But that Dreyer beats two guys to the ball. I mean, that's absolute intention by somebody who has a hunger for maybe not just goal, maybe MVP too.
Yeah, and it's that motion that Anders Dreyer does to really keep the motion going. He sees the clear path. He sees the space. The ball should be here by the time I make it through and break that line. That's what Anders Dreyer is thinking, right? Most of the time, that pass sometimes doesn't get respected by by your teammates. They try to do the individual. They hold the ball a little bit too much. A little bit fortunate there, but that's why you do that run. Just in case there is some happenstance, some lucky bounce that'll go your way, and the ball just ends up being there. And that finish is incredibly just nifty and tight just because he's able to cross it away from his body and just squeeze it by a defender and the goalkeeper for that goal. So just those details, if you just want to look at how great Anders Dreyer is, just look at those little details. And let me tell you, he went down the middle. That's the center forward spot. That's where Tomas Sanchez should be. That's where, you know what, Anders Dreyer's there up front. So at this point for SanDiego FC, if he's there, I don't think anybody should worry about it, whether or not Tomas Sanchez is there. Whoever is there, Anders Dreyer will be there.
Yeah, it did feel like, Dreyer was like, just screw it. I'm going to do it myself. That was very much like, I'm going to get the pass in, and then I'm just going to keep running and finish this off myself because, that's what Anders Dreyer can do. And it was really great to see. My eyes was on Dreyer the whole way because it did feel like something momentous was going to happen, and he did cap it off with a goal. And I did feel like we really needed that at that moment.
Guys, why is SDFC so good on the road? At this point, when you just look at run of form, run of play over the course of the last 6 weeks or so, they have felt like a better, more complete team on the road than they have at home. And obviously, Leagues Cup, maybe that's, let's just, hold up the offside flag for potential bias on that. Like it's not apples to apples. But what are your thoughts on why this club plays so well away from home?
I mean, they absolutely, like, they want to get a result. They're not trying to be Sporting Kansas City that will. I feel like Sporting Kansas City is comfortable trying to get a point away. They're not trying to get a win. And I think that's the difference right there. Like every single match, it feels like SanDiego FC on the road is trying to get a win. And it does show because right now they have 8 wins and 4 losses, no draws on the road. So, that it's going to be a result. They're either all in or somehow they just, it just happens that match they lose. But I think that's the difference. The whole mentality of it, because some teams are just comfortable with just getting a point away, and I think that's like the focus. Point away, try to get the 3 points at home, and that's their attitude. But it's different with SanDiego FC.
They're just relentless on the road. Anders Dreyer said it. He's actually been one to point it out throughout, is that they just hit a different gear when they're outside of Snapdragon. It feels almost like they need to prove it in front of their home fans to be like, no, this is the truth. We are the truth. And the truth is hitting you right now at your home. And, you can definitely say and point to like, hey, at the beginning of the season, there's new team, there's no film. There's plenty of film on SanDiego FC. There's plenty of points that you can pinpoint and say, okay, let's focus on this. Let's focus on double teaming Honor. Well, let's double team this person. Let's double team this area and try to neutralize it. there's ways to attack SanDiego FC, but on paper. But in practice, SanDiego FC has been able to really bounce back, and that's the strength that they've been able to really carry in. Today, you saw a little bit different SanDiego FC where, yeah, they had possession of the ball, but they said, you know what? They're not going to score. Let them have as many chances as they want. We'll figure ourselves out. We'll do and focus our style of play. It's eventually going to pay off, paid off twice. But just the ineptitude of Kansas City was just like, all right, this is a sterile offense. We're not going to give up a goal. So let them tire themselves out on that side. We'll try to sneak out through the back door and just goal, and come out with a victory, 2-0. Pretty neat and tidy there for SanDiego FC. And that is something that Mikey Vadas did point out in the post-match. There isn't sound just right now, but it's just that he himself doesn't see a difference with SanDiego FC away from Snapdragon. Just kind of bounce back, feel a little pushback there. He thinks it's the same. He says, we prepare the same, we play the same. I don't see a lot of difference. Maybe that's just coach speak, but I think there's a difference for sure.
You know, I'll say this, though. He could be 100% right. The difference could be very simple, Tony. The difference could just be luck, because soccer has a good dose of luck in it. You know, baseball has the most. That's why I always say baseball is stupid and no one should watch. Now, soccer, you know, it's cool to watch, but don't take it too serious. Is maybe, I don't know, trying to adjust. We're workshopping the new motto for the beautiful game of football. But there's randomness in this sport. And I would suggest that Chuky Lozano hitting a 1 in 100 shot, which is probably what it is. He probably takes that shot somewhere around 100 times and puts it in just the way he did maybe 3 times, maybe twice, but probably once. That combined with Kansas City missing multiple 20% chances, you know, multiple 11 or 16% chances, like all of these opportunities that went by that individually were richer than either Lozano or Dreyer's actual run at goal. But they didn't cash any of those. And you know, as the world of luck goes, yeah, you know, if you have a 2 out of 10 shot, you could miss it 40 times in a row. Even though you've got a 20% chance, you could miss it 40 times in a row. Doesn't mean you're due. The next one is still 20%, and it still means 80% miss. And that's kind of what it's felt like on a couple of these SDFC road matches. And maybe the luck hasn't been quite as good. Maybe the luck has been slightly road tilted on some Snapdragon games. And the result is what the result is. Has a bunch of, you know, yahoos on the internet saying, why are they better on the road than at home? And the real answer is they're the same team both places, but luck is a real thing in the sport of soccer.
And SanDiego FC is just the better team. Like, at the end of the day, SanDiego FC was and is and should be going into KC with the 2-0 victory. I don't care how humid, how hot it is. That's the result that should have happened. Post-match, the KC interim coach actually praised his own team, saying, there's not much I could have asked my team more to do, maybe score, but there's not much I could have asked them to do, especially where they're going in their season. They just faced a better team. So again, just take those kudos. This is where SanDiego FC is now, 8 games left and now in the MLS regular season. They're elite, and that's it. You expect these matches, and it's going to be harder. You're going to see some rivals that you haven't seen. San Jose twice. You don't know what that California rivalry is going to be. Right now, they just beat Vancouver 2-1. That's why you have a 4-point lead up in the top of the Western Conference. So, you know, it's still kind of like a pinch me thing for a lot of SanDiego FC fans. The frustration is there. You don't get Heung-min Son. You don't get Thomas Mueller. But you have Harangi and a bunch of 19-year-olds in first place. Take a pick. Take a pick.
I want to ask Alex a question because, again, I was watching on an iPad while working. What were your thoughts on the performance of Dejan Hovlic tonight? The guy who's supposed to be the goal machine for Sporting KC. How would you describe his path through this match?
Yeah, I mean, he was okay. I think he was just getting frustrated that he just wasn't getting the ball and getting the chances that he wanted. Because I remember early on, they were heading, towards the San Diego box in the goal, and they just flew one right over his head, and what is he supposed to do with that? Like, you know, they just weren't connected, and they just weren't connecting with him specifically, and he was just having a really rough time, um, just getting his chances, and yeah, I could see his like frustrations that he I think if he had more of those chances and have like more one-on-one situations, he probably had a better chance at goal than he did. But um, yeah, we didn't see him last time, which was good because that was a 0-0 draw, and this time we completely were able to uh, have a really strong back line and getting CJ Dos Santos another clean sheet. And it really, yeah, yeah, there must have been a little bit of luck to that, but they also they're not a great finishing team, and there's a reason why they're lower in the standings in the Western Conference.
Well, Tony, SDFC's up 4 points in the West.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like everybody thought it would, right? It's just like Mikey Varas dreamed it would, and Tyler, it's one of these things where I think not that they're trying, because they're not at all. They're not trying to be like, all right, guys, let's temper expectations, and it just kind of happened to stumble upon success and wins. It's like, no, this just seems more and more intentional the week as the weeks go by, where this is a new way to attack MLS. This is a new way to go into this North American version of football, soccer, and it's working. And again, the ambition that I for sure scoffed at the beginning. I was like, trying to be the Ajax, trying to be this, this is so lofty. How about you focus on the league? It's exactly what they've been able to do. And Vancouver, a very tough team. You've been able to take a positive result from those two matches. That's pretty much what you have left in the Western Conference, and you still have plenty of tough games to go, but you're cemented as the elite in this season's Western Division Conference. And San Diego FC needs to definitely be proud of that, but I don't think they're taking those accolades and just being happy with them. They're just moving forward with everything, and that's why I get the same answers from Mikey Varas. The style of play, our identity, and it just kind of become repetitive, but it's like, yeah, no, that's exactly what they're doing. I don't know what else we should be surprised with, because they've been honest, they've been transparent.
Yeah, 4 points ahead of Vancouver, and it's we have the top spot now, but they have a 1 game advantage. They still have to. We played 26 matches. Vancouver and Minnesota have played 25. Seattle has played 24, and LAFC has played 23. And we're gonna see LAFC away. We're gonna see Portland twice. We're gonna see San Jose twice, and yeah, those are gonna be big matches that are they're gonna accumulate. We need to get some really positive results out of those if we want to remain in the top spot. But I think that's bringing up a good question when it comes to our success on the road. Like, do we need to be that top team? I think it would be very opportunistic, and it'd be a good idea to be a top seed in the West, either the first or the second. But, we're playing really good on the road too.
Yeah, not the type of thing that you can ever concern yourself with. If you ever try to worry about that, the soccer gods will just smack you down. They and the basketball gods go out for drinks 2 times a week, and they talk. So you don't make those type of mistakes. Sometimes the baseball gods come around, but they're like, fuck those guys. Those guys are dicks. So they try to hide from them, but nonetheless, yeah, you don't make that mistake. Hey, the Shield's in play. Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Loskies, same number of games, 2 points.
2 points separated. They have 51. We have 49.
Cincinnati 1 game in hand with 49, so put them on the list, but they traded Corey Baird, so obviously they don't want to win anymore. If they wanted to win, they would have kept Corey Baird. So, good news for us. That's a real race, too. That would be absolutely insane. And I know I did the little comedic half riff comedic on the last Chromaniacs saying, like, we kind of thought we'd be not this. Kind of thought we'd be less than this. I also heard Tyler Heaps on a radio interview say they would make 1 or 2 more moves before the window. What kind of moves are those going to be? Are we going to put a win now mentality into this club? Because this is what I want to say to San Diego. We deserve it. All right? We're spoiled. We deserve it. We see what the Padres do every year. They go for it. They have a chance. They go for it. They might not win it all, but they're trying. So far, SDFC has felt very measured in their pursuit of first place and a potential MLS Cup in their first year. They felt very controlled, very smooth, very under control, but they also let their best 9 disappear to the East's best team for something, according to some Instagram comments on some posts I've made and some posts we've made. Maybe not as much TAM as we thought. Maybe no TAM at all. Maybe it was a GAM move, and maybe SDFC set a line that was way too low for the market and got burned in a massive way. And maybe that post I made on Instagram several weeks ago was exactly right, and this was the British definition of a cock-up. Like you just screwed it up. You just made a mistake. With all of that, I'm not trying to pick on you guys. We won a huge game, 2-0. I wish Oloski was here, but who you bringing in? Who you bringing in? If it's 2 more kids who still have to ask mom for permission to stay out past 11, then like, cool, all right, but I don't think you're trying to win the MLS Cup. But if you bring in some veteran firepower, if you brought in a dude right now, if you brought in a real 9 right now, this team might put the entire Major League Soccer world on notice.
I think that's what's missing. And I think that's that push for really that ambition to not just be the greatest expansion team of all time in MLS, because, again, if you want to be the greatest, you could get bounced out in the first round and probably still get that. But if you really have that ambition to move forward deep into it, but I don't want to derail those kind of talks and necessarily be not negative, just measured, just like you said, because MLS playoffs are insane. They are one of the most backwards thing I've ever seen in terms of there being a series of 3. So if you win game 1, 7-0, you can lose game 2, 7-0, nothing happens. And then game 3, you lose 1-0, and guess what? You're out. That's it. Then there's penalties. Like the structure, I'm okay with SanDiego FC being measured because I think they have to be able to just adapt with what's coming. And that's been exactly what they've been able to do. Everything that they faced is the first time they've been doing this. It's the first time they're going to be facing a back-to-back opponent in such a short amount of time. First time they've gone over in KC into 92-degree weather with literally all the humidity, all of it. And at the end of the day, this is going to be a challenge for SanDiego FC where they need somebody who knows what it takes in those moments in MLS. That's why Chris McVay's successful. He's a veteran. He knows this league. That's why Godoy's been incredibly successful and had a resurgence in his career. That's one player that everybody in MLS is like, oh, he's rotation. Oh, he's not going to be. No, he's a starter. And when he's not there, SanDiego FC feels it. Even if it's for those 2 moments where when I went down and you're like, he's going to be out. Nope, he comes right back. And yeah, that's the type of mentality that SanDiego FC has. Just move forward, and like water, they're adapting. They're going with the flow.
It's all about flow, Tony. Oh man, but yeah, I mean, I would agree. Yeah, I would
The
agree
flow
that
is evident.
if yeah, striker is probably like high on the list. I feel like our midfield should be good. It feels like it has a lot of good depth. What's interesting on the back line, right back is a little bit iffy.
That would be my pick. Is right
I
back, striker and right back would be my. If it's a 1-2, I'd say let's have two. Tyler, let's have a striker and a right back.
Yeah, like, do you want like Verhoeven or Harangi to keep going and maybe see Willie Kamado out there? Or do you want a little bit more experience, in right back? It seems like Luca Bombino is really like he's handling his business. He knows what he's doing out there. I'm not worried about Luca Bombino, but the right back position is a little bit troubling. I did see some positives out of Harangi. I did see when he was making a run, he received a pass from Dreyer like deep in the penalty area, and it seemed like that connected well with Dreyer. Like he felt like they were on the same page. It felt like they were on the same page. Like Harangi took the pass, he tried to get a pass off in the penalty area, but it was blocked. But it seemed like that's more of a work in progress. But we only have 8 matches remaining here. Like we don't have time to be working with works in progress. We don't have time to be like, you have to be coming in and be ready to go for this, because yeah, we're trying to make a deep playoff run. And I hope that everybody from here at Chromaniacs to Tyler Heaps, like, we should be all on the same page. Like, this is a playoff team. You have a big goal differential. You're one of the top teams in MLS. You should be playing for an MLS Cup. Like, if you want to be serious about it, maybe you should shore up that right back position.
Maybe.
Okay.
That'd be good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good. That'd be interesting. Some talks are happening. Tyler Heaps is still in negotiations and discussing and trying to activate negotiations in order to have people signed in. But again, don't be overly, optimistic of knowing, just oh wow, this is the player that's coming in. I can't believe it. This is a marquee player. Well, it might be marquee in certain markets, in certain aspects, but it's what SanDiego FC needs. And again, 6 months ago, and don't lie, who knew Honors Dreyer?
Yeah.
Who knew Yepes Verskov?
Right.
We're barely learning to know how to pronounce his name.
Yeah, and the other thing about it is, like, yeah, the same people that didn't know their names and covered the MLS, they wrote us off a long time ago. They were like, this team is going to finish in the last because I don't know who Yepet Verskov is. I don't know who Anders Dreyer is. And now it's like, they're doing a whole 180 about it, and they're like, oh, Yepet Verskov is the best player I've ever seen. Like, and Anders Dreyer, that's the best winger I've ever seen. And like, they completely flipped, and now they just want to keep seeing some more SanDiego FC and watching us be more successful like throughout the season. So yeah, I really do hope that happens. And yeah, I heard Hoyland he's available on loan, right? Nah, that's not gonna happen.
Alex, I'm sure you paid attention. What were your thoughts on Sonny's debut in LA? And then I'm going to have a tag question to that, and it might be the last question of the show, but go ahead.
Yeah, I did pay attention. Yeah, came around like the 60th minute. And yeah, he was gonna make a quick run, was prevented. That caused a penalty in the penalty area. He was chopped down by a defender. So Bawanga came in, scored a penalty. But yeah, I mean, Sonny. The thing about Sonny is, I saw this last year. I mean, he might be elite at MLS, but he's not. He's kind of gonna be worked out of Premier League, right? Spurs have other options, and it seems like that's he lost a step, and maybe that step is kind of right at the level of MLS. And he did show some breakaway speed that I was worried about when he was playing with Spurs, and but they did they did catch up to him and brought him down. So I think that's the biggest part of his game: his speed, his agility, being very quick with the ball, and that he and if you ask what it's gonna look like in a few weeks from now when SanDiego.FC is gonna face them, I don't know, because he had a little bit of a preseason. He's still trying to get his minutes. They gave him 30 minutes today, and I think they're just gonna keep working him in until he feels comfortable, and he can get a full 90 minutes out of him. But yeah, he's still it kind of seems like he still needs some time to you know get some training in and get his body acclimated to the season.
All right, which leads to my last question for you guys. We're going down the stretch here, just like the Padres are going down the stretch. And I think a fun question that people have been asking is like, who's the NL team that you're the most scared of? So my question to you is, who's the Western Conference MLS team that you think is SDFC's biggest threat? Understanding already, putting aside the vagaries of any team could beat you, MLS is crazy, blah, blah, blah. Who's the team that scares you right now? Who's the team that you would put at the top of your threat index?
I'd throw in a Seattle in there just because of the experience. That's a team that, much like SanDiego.FC, has always had a blueprint in the way they want to play, that they want to identify, but they've had the experience. They've won Conca Champions. They've really kind of been a team to beat, and they know what it takes in this end of the season to really just turn it on. And it's one of those teams where even on an international level, people knew the Seattle Sounders, and they knew that Seattle Sounders is a destination, right? For LAFC, I do feel like it's a little bit like when Christian Bale, of course, Christian Bale, or Gareth Bale joined. Yeah, Christian Bale to LAFC would be incredible too. But when Gareth joined LAFC and kind of gave him that breath of life, Bale was in that same type of really good for MLS, but not necessarily for Europe. But that's what LAFC needed in that time to unlock themselves for that championship run. So those are the two teams that I look at, and I don't know about you, Alex, but we've never seen SanDiego.FC in playoffs, and neither has any other team. Yeah. So that can be a strength or that can be a challenge. I don't know how you see that, but who do you think?
Yeah, I got to go with Minnesota. I mean, they're a really good team. I mean, I know that, and that the biggest factor in the game really when we faced them was Milan Olaski, getting those goals late, and then we're gonna face them in September, and if they get a few wins, and once we face them in September, we might be talking about playing for a first place spot. So I mean, they've done really well. I mean, they really haven't lost in the last, man, it just seems like 10, 15 games. They're really well coached. They're very. It seems like they know what they're doing. I think we just caught them at a wrong time, because remember, that was the Gold Cup. That was when they were out of players. We were out of players. Milan Olaski just came in and took over, but we don't have him anymore. They have their players back, we have our players back, and I feel like that's going to be a difference, and we're going to see a whole different team when September 13th rolls around, and yeah, I feel like that's going to be a really big match for San Diego.
Well, I'm going to just let my slip show as well, and all of my inherent biases, and the answer for me is LAFC. I mean, you just added Sonny. He could gather momentum. This is a program that's got a lot of prestige behind it. It's got basically everything that you ask for. And that's a club I don't want to see in October and November. That's a club that I'm worried about having the experiential edge over my side that allows them to prevail in a big moment, in a big match. And even if that match was here at Snapdragon Stadium, I feel like LAFC is the kind of club that can overcome that type of disadvantage against a nubile expansion team, fresh fans, the desperation, excitement that we would all feel in that moment if you had them here with the season on the line. That's the club that makes me worried. I give them a lot of respect, and I think they've earned it for what they've done. And honestly, I think SDFC, from Tom Penn upward, their dream has been to be like LAFC, to be as much like LAFC as a team in San Diego, not LA, could be. And I think they've done it. I think they have absolutely done it. And that means SD versus LA is a real thing again. And that's why they're the team. I'm not worried about Minnesota. We might lose or win, but it won't affect our lives. Like, it won't affect it. We won't remember it for the rest of our lives. But LASD, every time, we'll remember it the rest of our lives. So let's all be real. It's LAFC.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna be a big one, and I'm gonna be attending that one away. So
Please,
I'll
please
be
be safe.
I'll be there. Yeah,
Please,
yeah,
please be
it's gonna be a
safe.
fun one. I know.
Keep your belt on, Alex. Settle down.
Yes, for sure.
All right. What a huge result. What a huge result for Los Cromanos. 3 more points on the road, keeping things rolling, heading forward. Very exciting for San Diego Football Club. Up next, on to San Jose. And as our friend Procrastinating Puma put in the chat, a chance to win the El Camino Real Cup and clinch it if you get 3 points up in San Jose. We'll talk about that a lot more later in the week on Chromaniacs episode number 12. Tony, dude has been working very hard all day long and is still at Snapdragon Stadium after the cleaning crew has left. He's still there.
You saw
Tony, I did. I saw them leave. Tony, before you head to In-N-Out to duplicate my menu order, tell everyone how to support the incredible work you guys are doing.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead and check it out over on SanDiego.Futbol. That's SanDiego.Futbol, the website, the everything. That's where we're at. Instagram. We made it on Instagram. It's back on the live streams. YouTube, Chromaniacs, 2 balls and a mic, interviews, everything soccer in San Diego, SanDiego.Futbol. Alex?
Yeah, I'm over at Chromaniacs FC on Substack, and I talked to Tony. I might have a little exclusivo on SanDiego.Futbol this week. So that should be really fun. I might be double dipping on Substack and SanDiego.Futbol, so that should be a lot of fun. So check that out. That's going to be coming out this week.
Hey, for the folks still there, still about 25 plus people watching. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button yet, the math says you haven't. Some of you haven't. Please hit that thumbs up button on the way out and give us that grace for being here for us. Padres Hot Tub still rolling. We did a post-game show that I was literally on while I was in line at In-N-Out to get the order that I ate. You can find that and more at patreon.com/Padres Hot Tub, where we are grinding every day, and hopefully the Padres are grinding their way toward a division title / trip to the World Series / the thing that would mark many of our adult lives actually winning it. Monday night, 2 balls and a mic, live at 8 p.m. Chromaniacs back on Thursday. For Alex Pena, Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elston. 2-0 the final tonight. Sporting KC got barbecued. SDFC got all 3. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.